And now, at the same time, unity has long been President Lee Jae-myung's core message to Parliament. But tensions in the Assembly are yet to be tamed as an extraordinary session nears its end. We turn to our political correspondent, Hae-young, for more. Hello, Hae-young.
Good evening.
So, Hae-young, it's been 1 month since President Lee Jae-myung took office after the snap presidential election that put him in charge. What has been President Lee's approach toward the National Assembly so far?
Well, first of all, I followed President Lee Jae-myung's campaign trail throughout his candidacy, where he emphasized national unity as one of his key policy pledges. And after becoming president, he extended that message to the rival parties and the National Assembly. And during his inauguration, President Lee caught attention by wearing a red, white, and blue tie, symbolizing his message of unity across political affiliations. And he also had lunch with Assembly Speaker Won-sik and leaders from both the ruling and opposition parties, demonstrating his commitment to national unity from the very first day of his term. Take a listen.
양보할 건 양보하고 타협해서 가급적이면 모두가 함께 동의하는 그런 정책들로 우리 국민들이 더 나은 삶을 꾸리게 되기를 진심으로 소망합니다. 적대 전쟁과 같은 그런 정치가 아니고 서로 대화하고 인정하고 실질적으로 경쟁을 하는 그런 정치가 되기를 바랍니다.
And last week, he hosted a luncheon with leaders of the ruling Democratic Party and the main opposition People Power Party at the presidential residence. And all sides described the gathering as a meaningful step toward candid dialogue and agreed to meet regularly.
Hae-young, now I do have to ask, what was the first significant move by the ruling party after he took office then?
Well, back in power after 3 years, the ruling DP, which holds the majority in the 22nd National Assembly, has accelerated its efforts to pass contentious bills previously vetoed by the former administration. And in the first plenary session, a day after he took office, the DP unilaterally passed 3 special investigation bills, including one into former President Yoon Suk-yeol's declaration of martial law and related insurrection charges. And all this happened while most PPP lawmakers boycotted the vote. And meanwhile, the rival parties reached a compromise today on a revision to the Commercial Act, one of the contentious bills they've been clashing over, with plans to pass it in a plenary session tomorrow.
Right. As you mentioned earlier, Lee has made efforts to get the rival parties to work together. Then the question is, has there been any progress?
Well, it may be too early to say President Lee's message on unity has taken root in Parliament. And this is all because as the June extraordinary session nears its end, the rival parties remain deeply divided over four-term lawmaker Kim Min-seok's qualifications to serve as Prime Minister. And President Lee nominated Kim for the post, but last week's confirmation hearing for Kim quickly devolved into arguments and harsh exchanges. And with no agreement on witness between the parties, the hearing proceeded without a first for a prime minister nominee. And the PPP has refused to adopt the confirmation hearing report, citing Kim's failure to submit key documents, mainly about his wealth and family, while the DP plans to push for an assembly vote to approve him by July 4.
For the first time, the confirmation hearing is being held without witnesses. It's a blind hearing due to the nominee's failure to submit requested data, having not given consent to share personal information.
There have been many unfair and unreasonable demands for documents. Is this really a proper confirmation hearing, or just an attempt to embarrass and criticize?
Well, there's that, but isn't there also a standoff with the new administration's extra budget bill?
You're right. The bipartisan standoff over the supplementary budget follows President Lee, a former DP leader, returning to the National Assembly to deliver his first budget speech, which drew mixed reactions from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle. The DP pledged full support for the swift passage of the supplementary budget, calling it necessary to revive the economy and protect livelihoods. And in sharp contrast, the PPP found fault with the proposal, in particular the cash handouts, calling them ineffective and warning of the growing national debt. And despite the ongoing tensions, the National Assembly Public Administration and Security Committee approved a 13.2 trillion Korean won, which is about $9.7 billion supplementary budget on Tuesday to fund consumption vouchers, with both parties agreeing to the plan. And now tomorrow marks a month since President Lee took office, and all eyes remain on how Lee and the National Assembly will handle the ongoing standoff between the rival parties and work toward bipartisan cooperation. And that's something to watch closely throughout his presidency.
Indeed. Hayoung, thank you so much for the wrap-up today.
My pleasure.